Well, hi everyone. I'm John Retlin with a retro review of WCW Slamboree 1995, one of the most basic pay-per-views that you will probably see in that year. It wasn't that it was necessarily bad, it was just a holding pattern pay-per-view because WCW would kind of ramp things up a little bit in the summer of 95 at the Great American Bash, which was actually pretty good. Bash at the Beach, on the beach, was fun in a train wreck fashion. So this, despite them honoring the legends, which actually was a pretty cool moment, and the IWGP Heavyweight Championship being defended, you really could have just skipped this pay-per-view and not missed shit. It's Bischoff and Heenan on commentary, Gary Michael Capetta, the world's most dangerous announcer, doing the ring announcing. Really, Gary Michael Capetta is absolutely great. I always love how he just would add emphasis and so much passion to a lot of, calls that he would make whenever he would introduce wrestlers, which is the key, component of being a good ring announcer, doing the introductions properly. But seriously, he's awesome. Nasty Boys versus Harlem Heat, WCW Tag Team Championship match, and Sister Sherry was there at ringside with Harlem Heat. Brian Knobbs had been taken out and had injured ribs. He would show up later, so Jerry Sags went at alone for a while. And this wasn't bad. They had had better matches before. This is the last chance for the Nasty Boys to capture the Tag Team Championships from Harlem Heat. Otherwise, they would not get another shot, and that's always how those work. Those things never get taken back at all. But Knobbs does show up eventually after Sags had been beaten up a bit, and Sherry did some distraction to lead to the 2-on-1 advantage. Knobbs gets tagged in. Sherry gets dumped outside on the Stevie Ray. An elbow drop from the top. Pins Booker 1, 2, 3. New champs. Cool. Okay. Fine match. It was fine opener. Regal and Eaton, the Blue Bloods, looking on in disgust, because you had William Regal, Lord Stephen Regal, that is, and Earl Robert Eaton. Then we get Kevin Sullivan versus the man with no name, a.k.a. Brutus Beefcake, a.k.a. The Butcher, a.k.a. why the fuck, A, did I butcher that name, and B, why the fuck was Brutus Beefcake ever included? Oh yeah, he was Hogan's buddy. He had about 50,000 gimmicks while in WCW, including the Booty Man, where he hit the high knee. The high knee, it's an ass joke. Do you get it? This was bad. This was sloppy. It was a Kevin Sullivan match, so it was never going to be any good because Kevin Sullivan couldn't wrestle. He could brawl, and that was it. He wins after that lame stomp that he does. Cool, whatever. Old man yells at Kevin, a.k.a. Big Curtis Iukea, Sullivan, my son! The one that would introduce the Yeti later. The Dungeon of Doom storyline was being born here. Hooray! That's exactly what we need. By the way, here's what he thought of the Dungeon of Doom storyline, because somebody wants to chime in. What did you think of Prince Iakea's father? I think that was... Hi, can you let go of my shirt? He doesn't like. He wanted to be the leader of the Dungeon of Doom, despite the fact that you weren't born yet. I keep telling you this. You can't be the leader of stuff that you aren't born for. You look like you are just done. Anyway, moving on. So, let's get done with this. I dropped my notes. Hi, folks. I run a great production here, don't I? So... we get Hogan and Savage yelling Angelo Poffo footage where he is happy to see his son wrestle tonight. And then we get a black and white footage montage match of Dick Murdoch versus Wahoo McDaniel in 1995. Gordon Solie joining Bobby Heenan for commentary. Dick, KKK Murdoch, and Wahoo McDaniel. Look, it wasn't good. Both these guys are well past their prime, and thankfully it ended after a few minutes. A chop pins Dick Murdoch. There we go. We get the Great Muta versus Paul Orndorff IWGP Heavyweight Championship. And hey, Heavy Pyro for Muta nearly engulfed the goddamn drummers that were there. And guess what we got? We got a match that was kind of basic. Now, Muta actually could do some shit. And Orndorff, even though he was on the downside of his career, he could do some shit as well. It was a weird mix. It was given maybe a little bit too much time only because there were a lot of rest holds to drag this out. That being said, this looked good all of a sudden because it wasn't that bad of a match. And was certainly better than the last two matches we had seen. They chanted Paula, the fans did, at Paul Orndorff. Thankfully, Orndorff did not do the slanty eyes thing that he did to Mr. Fuji that they edited out of a particular event in WWE. Racism. Good joke. I hope it was a joke. Fucking hell. So, eventually Muta did hit the moonsault 1, 2, 3, and it was after like 14 minutes. Terry Funk, Hall of Fame inductee, doesn't feel that he deserves to be there with everybody else, but you know what? He is honored. Arn Anderson versus Alex Wright. Alex Wright had his undefeated streak. Alex Wright no longer had his undefeated streak after this. The crowd booed Alex Wright. Arn faked him out with a punch after like about 11 minutes. Hits him with a DDT, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm skipping through a lot of this stuff. You know why? This pay-per-view was pretty damn skippable. So... Meng versus Road Warrior Hawk before the Road Warriors were reunited in WCW for about 2 goddamn months. It was a brawl, and after 4.5 minutes, it ended on a double countout, and they brawled more, and security had to come out and do this stuff. This is all stuff that was actually going on that people paid for on pay-per-view. Gordon Solie inducting the Hall of Fame, doing the Hall of Fame inductions, and you know what? Wasn't that bad. Wahoo McDaniel, he goes over the accolades of every, I almost said analytics, accolades of every single wrestler. Wahoo McDaniel, Terry Funk, Angelo Poffo, who was going to be there and was going to factor into the main event, Antonio Inoki, Big John Studd, who had passed away earlier that year. I believe he passed away due to cancer, and his son did the induction speech. It was really, really nice, accepted the award, and would later do the same for Studd when he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. So, not bad. And Dusty Rhodes with a young Cody and his daughter. I actually forgot Dusty had a daughter. But yeah, a young Cody right there. No Dustin, because Dustin was fired from WCW and would go on to be the androgynous one, Mr. Goldust, because that's what they called him. They called him Mr. Goldust. It's just a nickname that I made up. Anyway, Cody was there. It was actually kind of cool to see Cody there. And then Dusty talks about tradition and all this stuff and everything, and then talks about Gordon Solie and says Gordon Solie is going to be the last inductee because he is Dusty. He makes the rules. And you know what? Solie got inducted, and Solie looked very emotional, feeling that he did not deserve it. Gordon Solie is one of the best wrestling commentators of all time. I admit to only hearing a lot of his later stuff. I really do need to hear a lot of his earlier stuff, and hopefully maybe more can be put on the network, and maybe I can find some on YouTube. As Gordon Solie did have a great way of describing matches, and he certainly deserved this accolade, and then got inducted in WWE Hall of Fame a little bit later. So, we're just rushing right along with this pay-per-view. Yeah, this, besides the Hall of Fame inductions and maybe, the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match, this one was kind of basic. I mean, because 1995 was kind of basic. WWE was a little bit messy as well. Okay, it was a lot messy. And WCW would later do the Dungeon of Doom and the Yeti. Oh dear. Big Bubba versus Sting. It wasn't great. Sting kept the energy up. These guys had a feud going off and on for a while. There was a stair spot at one point. A table was brought in, a legit table. This Sting splashed in the corner. Ouch. The table was then still stuck in the corner, meaning everybody that paid for ringside seats in that particular area got to see absolutely jack and shit. That's a great way to, help your paying customers feel honored and everything and feel privileged. There's a great way to do it. That's how you can prove it. Hey, guys, you can come watch a WCW event, and if you're lucky, a table will block half of a match between two guys that maybe you wanted to see. So we then get a splash in the corner. He splashes the table, but even that, Bubba would not be able to get the victory. And later, the Scorpion Deathlock got Bubba to tap out, and there we go. We then get Hogan and Savage versus Flair and Vader with Arn, Jimmy Hart in Hogan and Savage's corner, and the Renegade did a run-in as well. But before that, you had a weird, mysterious, tall dude standing in there. He was a giant. It's like he was becoming the Big Show. Wait, it was the Big Show. It really covered about 8 city blocks to get to that lame joke, but it was the Big Show, the future giant, and then the future Big Show, just standing there, and then he would appear and face Hogan at Halloween Havoc 95. Fuck, I'm gonna have to review that. Why? Why do I do this to myself? Oh wait, to entertain myself and to entertain all you guys. So, how was the match? It was a tag match. Lots of pyro for Hogan and Savage. Savage deserved it. Hogan didn't at this point. Renegade then runs down and kind of evens the odds and then kind of just stumbles around not doing anything. The character wasn't great. With all due respect to the guy, the man playing him. Terrible how his life ended. Read up on it. I'm not going to go into it. I've gone into it on other videos, but it is a tragic shame. The star power added to it. And these guys had been intermingling with each other, and the crowd energy was up as well. There was a lot of interference later, and eventually after Arn hit Flair with a double axe handle, instead of trying to hit Hogan hit the leg drop, 1, 2, 3. And then Flair and Anderson are beating up Savage, Angelo Poffo, who was there at ringside for some reason. Probably because making him run from the back wouldn't have been a very good idea, because he was in his 70s at that point. And he gets in the ring and tries to get Flair and Arn to back off, and then they tag team him. He, punches safely because Flair was one to take care of, people that were legends in the ring. He took care of anybody really, and also Arn was doing that, and they beat him up, and then Savage is upset. They run them off. Savage is taking care of his dad, and this match cut to credits. That's it. Slamboree was pretty much a meh pay-per-view, but, you know, they still didn't have anything other than WCW Saturday Night and other syndicated programs, and we're not running a pay-per-view every month. God, I miss those days when pay-per-views felt a little special. This pay-per-view, however, is pretty damn skippable. So you can watch it, but let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.